Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory going to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash, the honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone salutation to all you Akim that's out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity by way of the highways and byways, going out on the streets teaching and preaching, and also by way of the internet. This your brother Nayab, and I'm back with another lesson. Well, not this one a little news lesson, I should say. I just say the news. I'm really not gonna jump in or like that unless I really need to. But as you can see, Israel has, end up messing around with Iran, and Iran is thinking about going. Well, they said that the USA, and Israel will pay dearly for that. Okay, so this where we at. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and get into these videos. I'm gonna shut my ass up. But this is for fair use, and for educational purposes only.
Iran's defense minister has issued a stark warning to the United States, vowing to strike American military bases across the region if conflict erupts. This threat comes as nuclear talks stall, with Washington accusing Tehran of escalating tensions just days before a critical round of negotiations.
I want to say this on behalf of the Iranian people and the armed forces. God willing, it won't come to that, and the talks will reach a conclusion. But if they don't, and conflict is imposed upon us, the casualties on the other side will certainly be greater than ours. In that case, the US will have to leave the region because all its bases are within our reach. We have access to them and will target them all in their host countries without hesitation.
Well, over the recent weeks, the tone from Tehran and Washington has hardened significantly. Iran's officials have repeatedly warned that any military aggression would be met with a strong and decisive response, while the US has maintained that it will prevent from developing nuclear weapons by all means necessary. Against this backdrop, the upcoming negotiations in Oman are seen as a last-ditch effort to avoid conflict and reach a diplomatic solution. The remarks by Iran's defense minister is significant for several reasons. First, it underscores Iran's official position that it prefers a peaceful resolution through diplomacy, but is fully prepared to defend itself if attacked. Second, Nasserzadeh's emphasis on the vulnerability of U.S. military bases in the region highlights Iran's growing defense and military capabilities. Third, the minister's words on targeting U.S. bases in their host countries is a clear message that Iran's reach extends beyond the Middle East, potentially implicating U.S. interests in places like Afghanistan or even further. These talks follow months of indirect negotiations mediated by Oman, aiming to salvage a deal after the U.S. unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018 and reimposed sanctions against Tehran. The original deal had placed limits on Iran's uranium enrichment and followed extensive inspections in exchange for sanctions relief. Iran is expected to present a counter-proposal to the U.S. latest offer, which Tehran has already rejected. The U.S. proposal reportedly demands a complete halt to Iran's uranium enrichment capacity, puts limits on research and development of nuclear technology, and calls for more intrusive inspections. Tehran, however, insists on preventing its right to enrich uranium for peaceful purposes and demands the lifting of sanctions, which have severely damaged its economy. This comes as President Trump has publicly voiced his skepticism about the prospects for a deal, blaming Iran for delays and increased aggressiveness.
They seem to be delaying, and I think that's a shame, but I'm less confident now than I would have been a couple of months ago. Something happened to them, but I am much less confident of a deal being made. I would have said a deal would be made.
What happens then?
Well, if they don't make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they do make a deal, They're not going to have a nuclear weapon too, but they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, so it's not going to matter from that standpoint. But it would be nicer to do it without warfare, without people dying. Yeah. It's so much nicer to do it. But I don't think I see the same level of enthusiasm for them to make a deal. I think I think they would make a mistake, but we'll see. I guess time will tell.
Iran's official position remains that its nuclear program is strictly peaceful, intended for civilian energy production and scientific research. Tehran points to its commitments under the Non-Proliferation Treaty (NPT) and the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) safeguards agreements as evidence of transparency and compliance. Iranian leaders and officials argue that the U.S. and its allies are using the nuclear issue as a pretext to undermine Iran's sovereignty. The next few days will be decisive in determining the trajectory of Iran-US relations, whether the talks in Oman lead to a breakthrough or further stalemate. The rhetoric and military posturing on both sides suggest that the situation remains volatile.
At least 3 people have lost their lives as a fire engulfed a vessel docked at an Iranian port in the southern province of Bashir. The ship was reportedly carrying methanol. Local media are currently reporting 10 casualties, with the number expected to rise. Thick plumes of black smoke could be seen rising into the sky following the incident, with the petrochemical complex engulfed in flames. A welding incident on a barge is being pointed to as the possible cause of the fire, which has since been brought under control.
You want to go burn a flag while you're up there rioting, while you're assaulting cops, while you're blowing up cars? Yeah, fine, go right ahead. Spend double the amount of time in prison. That flag means something to Americans. If you think that you can just burn it and get away with it, it's time that we disabuse them of that notion. The other thing I'd say, Jesse, is if these protesters want to have a place to protest, how about a nice jail cell? And right after that, how about a one-way ticket back to the country where they came from, never to see the United States again?
I used to be so.
Oh man, I just wanted to pop in on this one. Hey man, these Edomites, man, these so-called white people. I've never heard nothing like this coming from my people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But you fucking heathens, man. You white people, man. Y'all some dirty motherfuckers, man. I'm just gonna continue.
Infected with worms as a kid. I would pull down my pants and there would be clumps of worms in my underwear. There was so much worms, and they would be active at night, and if you've ever had worms, it makes your... Never mind.
Disgusting.
So this machine right here, pay attention to this right here. So this machine right here is the LRAD machine. If they turn that on, we're fucked. That's a sound machine right there. Stands for Long Acoustic Range If they turn device. Turn the camera around, guys. You officially seen an LRAD machine right there. That is a sound device. If they turn that on, this crowd right here is going to get migraines, or we're all going to collapse.
The way his lawyers tell it, prison officials want R. Kelly dead. You heard me. The government, they say, has put a target on the singer in prison. And what's more, Kelly's lawyers say the Bureau of Prisons conspired with one of his fellow inmates, a member of the Aryan Brotherhood, to murder him. What I just read, what I just said, it just all sounds very fantastical. Do you have proof?
Well, the answer is we do have proof, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to come on and talk about it. In terms of proof, the most powerful piece of proof I can provide is the sworn statement of the man who says that he was solicited to kill R. Kelly. Michael Glenn Stein has provided us with a full declaration signed, and he's given his willingness to sit down for a polygraph examination administered by either side to testify in court. He has given us the details of who solicited him and when. And I think that's the key here. These are not R. Kelly's allegations. These are the allegations being made by Michael Glenn Stein, who's the person who says that he was solicited to kill Robert and sent to Butner to do it from another facility.
In my long experience, unique experience of the fact that food has become an opportunity for killing. I've never heard of such a thing in the past. I mean, it's quite extraordinary, and it's deeply more than flawed. It's just simply wrong.
Ya Allah, ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
It's inadequate, that it's militarized, that clearly the IDF, which has a camp near many of these sites deliberately, are there to crush the crowds, crush the crush. And that is also contrary to humanitarian experience, and it breeds distrust, it breeds dislike, it breeds more vengeance. It's not good for Israel's security, it is not good for the people of Palestine. The fact that the killing is added on is just a horrific extra. But aid is not supposed to be a gift from military to people. Aid is supposed to be a need for people who need it from the world. And it's not supposed to be transactional. This looks a lot like that. We don't know the result until we stop it with a ceasefire, flood it with aid, bring the 600 trucks a day, and they're all sitting outside Gaza, as you know, waiting to come in, and stopping this absurd focus on a flawed and inadequate system for distributing food, which draws people in and then kills them.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Man, I don't know what Israel knows in relation. what Israel knows in relation to how Iran is going to retaliate, but they have just issued a stark warning to their population saying, we are facing powerful and complex days ahead. People must seek shelter when alerts are sent out. Israel also just said that they believe that they've killed Iran's senior nuclear scientist in their strikes, while Iran is saying that they hit residential areas and children were among those killed. Netanyahu has also just delivered an address saying that the operation is not over and the strikes will continue for as long as it takes to remove the threat. There's not yet been a retaliation from Iran, but I have a feeling we're going to hear about it very quickly if and when it happens.
Two seconds, y'all. This is a fucking stupid ass fucking phone. It's always Satan trying to fuck with a nigga. See how Satan be, man? Satan always want to play a little part of your fucking day. Damn. Bow down, bitch.
So, Iranian state media is reporting, Fars news agency, they say that a spokesperson for the Armed Forces General Staff says the Israeli enemy and America will pay a very heavy price. Iran will give a heavy response to the Zionist regime. So again, the military in Iran is vowing a heavy response to Israel and America.
اینجا رو زدن، اینجا رو هم زدن، این لویزان هم زدن، پشتم زدن، پشت لویزان هم زدن.
A lightning bolt hit a home in Louisiana, igniting a fire that ripped through the roof as severe storms swept through the state Tuesday evening. Luckily, everyone inside escaped safely. That wasn't the case, though, in Colleyville, Texas last month, where 3 people were sent to the hospital with minor injuries after this lightning strike set a house ablaze. You might be wondering how common it is for a house to be struck by lightning. The National Lightning Safety Institute says about 1 in every 200 homes is hit per year. A lightning bolt hit a home in Louisiana.
The thing, nobody believes you, Israel. Nobody believes you. Nobody likes you. No matter how much media covers for you, no matter how much politicians you buy to parrot your talking points, no matter how many fake influencers you hire to whitewash your face, no matter how many fake Indian-based accounts that tweet for you, no matter how many European models you bring in and you pay them so they can dance with the IDF uniform, right? That everybody can see you, everybody can smell your bullshit, right? You are like the neighbor who firebombs everybody's house and he's sad why he's not invited to a house party, right? You will win in the battlefield. You will get more land because America supports you. It's like supporting a rabid dog that shits on your lawns and eats your cats and bites everybody and it's like, oh, it's just like you have a bad day. You will win, maybe, on the battlefield, but everybody knows who you are. A bunch of heartless, psychopathic, demonic assholes. And that's at the end of.
And that's it. Till next time, shalom.